With the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Marvel's Phase 4 is officially over. And it's safe to say that this phase has been a little bit mixed in terms of quality. From WandaVision all the way to Black Panther 2, Marvel's Phase 4 has had a total of 16 projects. And since I've been seeing so many people on Twitter give their opinions and thoughts on these titles, I thought, why don't I do the same? So this is every single MCU Phase 4 project ranked. All 16 of them. And of course, this video is entirely subjective and all my opinion, so if you disagree with something that I say, I don't give two shits. It's my video, I'll do whatever the fuck I want with it. Cry about it. And with all that being said, let's start us off with number 16, She-Hulk. Now firstly, let's get the positives out of the way. I think that Tatiana Maslany's performance as Jen Walters is fantastic. She brings a lot of charisma to the show. I also really liked a lot of the cameo characters, such as Hulk, Abomination, Daredevil, etc. But if you push all of that to the side, then oh my god, this show is dreadful. I had to physically force myself to watch it every week. It felt more like a chore than something I was willingly doing to enjoy. This show is so disorganized and nothing about it feels coherent at all. The fourth wall breaks are really cringy and forced. And the final episode is just so odd. Like, they acknowledge how shit the finale is. So then Jen goes to Marvel Studios, speaks to Kevin Feige, and gets the finale changed, but yet somehow the finale is still underwhelming. And while yes, it is funny for Jen to break into Marvel Studios and go, oh, my finale is shit, look at us, we're self-aware. It's not a good kind of self-awareness because they're aware of how bad their show is, and they're not doing anything about it. It's like I watched an entire show just to get trolled at the end. It was so confusing. Anyway, moving on to number 15, we have Eternals. I don't really know what to say about this movie other than it's just blatantly boring. Like, I've watched it once and I vaguely remember the plot, but like at the same time, if you asked me a specific question about this movie, I just wouldn't remember. Most of, if not all, the characters are really forgettable, and whilst the directing and cinematography are both really solid, the movie does a pretty terrible job of making me care. I do hope to see the Eternals again, and I hope I'm made to care about them and their individual storylines, but for now, I am left kinda disliking the movie and fucking hating Druig with a burning passion. Also, the fact that Harry Styles is an official MCU character just makes me want to curl up into a ball and cry. Next up at number 14, we have What If. Now, don't get me wrong, there were some real highlights of this show. For example, the Doctor Strange episode was really cool, and I didn't mind the Peggy Carter one either, but some of the episodes were just blatantly boring, like for example the Killmonger episode or the T'Challa episode, and some of the what if scenarios don't even make sense. Like, I'm sorry, T'Challa becoming Star-Lord just doesn't work because Star-Lord was a name that Peter Quill's mum gave to him before she died. So how the fuck does T'Challa adapt the name of Star-Lord? And how does he use the exact same Ravager armor? And why is it a different color? What is going on? And at number 13, we have Black Widow. I think the best way to summarize this film for me is that it just doesn't seem like it's a movie that needs to exist. Like, yes, the movie does introduce characters such as Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, and it sets up the Hawkeye show with Valentina recruiting Yelena to go take down Hawkeye. But then with all this in mind, Black Widow herself is just kinda sidelined. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this movie. I actually like all of the titles that I'm going to be talking about from Black Widow onwards. Like, I think they're all good. But I just feel like Black Widow doesn't really add a lot, and it just kind of feels a little bit pointless if you take away all the things it's setting up for the future. At number 12, we have Miss Marvel. Now, the first two episodes of this show I thought were really good. It had such a distinct charm and personality to it, and I think Iman Vellani is maybe one of my favorite actors in the entirety of the MCU. But episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6 just felt a little bit lackluster. Like, they got rid of most of the charm that the first part of the series had, and it kind of got a bit stale towards the end, I'll be honest. I feel like it took a lot of time to set up characters like Aisha and the Clandestines, and then just didn't really do much with them. But the reveal of Kamala Khan being a mutant is very exciting. At number 11, we have Hawkeye. Now, I actually liked Hawkeye quite a bit. I thought that Jeremy Renner's performance was spectacular, and oh my god, Haley Steinfeld just stole the show as Kate Bishop. I think it's possibly one of the best casted MCU roles of all time. But the show does feel a little bit too street level and grounded. Like, we've gone from Hawkeye in Endgame. He went back in time, he carried the Infinity Gauntlet, and now he's fighting role players? I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit weird. Honestly, I think Hawkeye and Miss Marvel are interchangeable for me because I like them equally as much and have equal amount of criticisms for them. But yeah, Hawkeye just felt pretty underwhelming. And coming in at number 10, and I know people are going to be mad at me for not picking this higher, It's WandaVision. Now, with that being said, I only got into the MCU at the end of last year, so I wasn't around for the WandaVision hype train, and maybe that's why I don't connect with the series as much. But don't get me wrong, I think it was a pretty great series. I think the whole sitcom aesthetic was brilliant, although there were a few moments where I was like, okay, they're leading a bit too much into the sitcom aesthetic now. But I have to say, I love the whole B-plot with Monica Rambeau, Agent Wu, and Darcy Lewis. I thought that was great. And this show would be a lot higher in my rankings if it wasn't for episodes 8 and 9. Episode 9 in particular, it's just so underwhelming, and it's a shame because the first 6 episodes of the show were really great. Episode 7 was alright, but the final 2 really teetered off in my opinion and became almost a little bit boring. And at number 9, and I'm gonna receive death threats for this, it's Spider-Man No Way Home. Now hear me out, okay? I have only seen the movie once, and I was absolutely not the target audience for it. I watched it in theaters when I was just getting into Marvel, and I'd only seen a handful of movies at this point. I'd never seen any of Tobey or Andrew's movies, so whilst I enjoyed the cameos, I didn't connect with them a lot, and so I was kind of led to interpret the movie at face value. And whilst I think it was fun and enjoyable, I think that the writing was a little bit off at some points, and the overall pacing of the movie was just a little bit odd. But don't get me wrong, I think it was a pretty great film. And now coming in at number 8, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I really enjoyed this film. I think Sam Raimi's direction of the movie was just fantastic, and Elizabeth Olsen, I don't know if it's just her attracting me with some of her witchcraft charm, but her performance was really good. I also really enjoyed the Illuminati cameos and the whole plot twist of we have Reed Richards in an MCU title, but then he gets killed a few seconds later due to Wanda. That's awesome. However, the main thing that holds the movie back for me is the entire third act. It's just very rushed, and the ending of Doctor Strange saying to America Chavez, believe in yourself, and then suddenly she's able to use her powers right, is just... I don't know. Moving swiftly on to number 7, we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Despite what I've seen a lot of people say, I actually really enjoyed this show. I think the chemistry between Sam and Bucky is unmatched, and other side characters such as Zemo and John Walker, I really enjoyed. I also really loved all the action scenes, and seeing Sam Wilson as Captain America was just awesome. However, the one thing holding this series back, and the thing that I'm sure you've heard mentioned by everyone else talking about this show, is the Flag Smashers. They are undoubtedly the worst villains of Phase 4, and I get they had to change a lot of plot stuff due to COVID, but it just felt very empty and surface level, and I didn't empathize with Carly Morgenthau or any of the Flag Smashers at all. Still though, pretty great show. Next up at number 6, we have Werewolf by Night. I don't really have a lot to say about this one other than I think it was pretty solid. The only immediate flaw from me is that I wish it was longer, but I love the whole old school black and white horror aesthetic. I think Jack Russell is a really cool character. Same with Elsa Bloodstone, and I'm really excited to see Werewolf by Night again in the MCU. And at number 5 is Thor Love and Thunder. I know this one's also gonna piss a lot of people off because they're like,
what? You put Thor above WandaVision and Spider-Man?
Look, okay. Thor is my favorite MCU character. Taika Waititi is my favorite director. Do you expect me to not like the movie? I think it was just a lot of fun, and I loved characters such as Korg. My god, he's amazing. And Gore was such a cool villain. I wish he got more screen time, but oh my god, every time he was on screen, I was captivated by Christian Bale's performance. Now, I will admit there were some parts of the movie that were a little bit too goofy. The goats got unfunny by the time they screamed about the 45th time. Korg being tied to Valkyrie's hair with a mustache was a bit dumb, and I also didn't like how Thor gave children the superpowers and sent them into fucking war. That was stupid. But I liked the movie, okay? I thought it was fun. Look, I have Funko Pops of Thor, Jane, and Gore, so come at me, okay? I don't care. At number 4, we have Loki. Now, I thought this series was really great. Tom Hiddleston was fantastic, and overall, it was just a really cool, time-esque, thriller, action-packed series, and I loved all of the new characters that were introduced, such as Mobius, not to be confused with Morbius, and of course, Sylvie and Kang. I just think this series is the most consistently good MCU show by far. I wouldn't say there was a single moment from the show that I disliked. Great show overall, and I'm really excited for season 2 next year. We're now entering our top 3, and taking 3rd place is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, I'm not going to say a lot about this movie, because a lot of you probably haven't watched it, but I'll just say I think it was a fantastic movie. The cinematography was beautiful, the characters were amazing, Riri Williams especially. I'm really looking forward to Ironheart after seeing her character, and Chadwick Boseman's legacy was honored just beautifully. My one complaint with the movie is that it does seem a little overcrowded at points, there are too many characters and the movie doesn't really know what to do with them all, but other than that, I thought the movie was genuinely fantastic and I was captivated in every moment of it. And at number 2, I think this one will be controversial too, it's Moon Knight. Now, why do I like this show so much? Oscar Isaac. I fucking love Oscar Isaac's performance in this show. I am infatuated with it. His ability to switch between Steven and Mark and his portrayal of both those characters and their struggles is just unmatched. It's the best performance we've ever seen in the MCU, without question. It's not even close. All the action scenes hit so hard, especially the one in episode 6. Oh my god, I've rewatched that one alleyway scene like so many times because seeing Steven do all those flips and doing stuff to baton, it was just awesome. And other characters such as Arthur Harrow, Scarlet Scarab, I just genuinely really enjoyed seeing. I think the show is fantastic. I'm praying for a season 2, and I cannot wait to see both Steven and Mark again in the MCU. And finally, at number 1, no prizes for guessing what it is, because, well, there's only one project left. My favorite Phase 4 MCU project is Shang-Chi. I just think this movie is so enjoyable. The story is amazing and captivating. The characters are really emotionally investing. And the action scenes. Oh my god. The bus scene. The scene where everyone's fighting on the scaffolding. The final battle in Ta Lo. I just cannot believe how good the action is in this movie. Like, I had my jaw on the floor whenever any action popped up. And I love Shang-Chi. I think he's a great character. I loved seeing the, like, emotional struggle of his family. And I just think, honestly, I'm so excited to see him in the MCU again. And I think Shang-Chi 2 has already been confirmed, or it's definitely rumored, but either way, I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to see Simu Liu again in the MCU, and overall, I think this is just a fantastic film. And with all that said, that's it. Those are all of the MCU Phase 4 projects ranked according to my opinion. Now, I'm going to cause war in the comment section and say, leave your own rankings below. What would you change about my list? Where would you put certain projects? I'm happy to hear. I mean, it won't change my opinion, but you can try. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, please subscribe and leave a like, whatever. Do all the normal YouTube shit. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.